baby to the world. Ongeza volume. Ongeza volume.
Jagermeister Nice Embassy is in the building. Welcome, welcome, kings and queens. But this lady is someone who we all look up to. She has been trailblazing. If you're on IG, like me, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the content that she pushes. Her name is Kemoli. Please, come make some noise.
Winning.
Kemoli.
Basi watu wa uptown wanasupportingi uptown.
He used to
Sasa nileta wasanii wa uptown.
he's amongst the guys that throws the best parties not only in Kenya, but East Africa, if not Africa, in the world at large. Very tall guy. He's always kept it very real to his craft. Next up, our next panelist is a lady. They're loving your race. I don't know how many guys are right over here. They're loving you. Next up is a lady who, I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. First time I met this lady, I had to throw some game. I was like, I know you rap. I had to shoot my shot, bro. She's an absolute legend. You might know her from Chakula Ya Soul, the one and only Wangechi. And of course, last but not least, a lady who, honestly, she's my dad, alright? My father's a musician, guys. This lady is one of my father's favorite musicians. There was this album, her debut album, her first album, Fena Gitu. That was playing in my dad's car non-stop. If you know, you know. She just released a brand new album to tell us about it. But help me in welcoming to the stage our final panelist, the one, the only, Fena Gitu. Yo! What's the way to go about that?
I feel like people forget there's also Kenyans living in the rest of the world. So like, these people obviously don't know Swahili, but they know English, right? So the only way they can relate to some of your music is by listening to some sort of English. At that show, I remember when the women was like, hey, warembo mnasemaje? They're like, oh! You know, like they've never heard Kiswahili in such a long time. So you just have to have a balance of English and Kiswahili, or anything that makes everyone feel like they're at home. Because like, they just want to feel home wherever they're in the world, so you just have to balance that.
I want to know from where you sit, are there any examples of artists that you think are successfully blending the international and then the local influences? So what he's spoken about, we're going to leave neutral side of that, but any artists you feel that are really doing a good job of that balance, or international and local, that really selling the Kenyan music brand?
Immediate example that comes to mind is one of our legends, just dropped.
Musau Mumo.
And I mean, starting from the time Musau Mumo was really even shot them out, I think they're bringing in that sort of like influence, because the Rizwan guitars and all that good stuff, but there's the soul and the jazz, and they created this sound. I think for many of us, the first time we have Azizi, it's like, oh my goodness, what is this? But it's also music that has traveled, and I think that's something that Ian does really well. And with this new album, you can hear it. You can still hear his Kenyanness, his influence, all the way back to like where he's from like Western Kenyan perspective, not just a guy who grew up in Nairobi, but then he's also bringing some of those more international influences when he brings in the R&B, creating this Afrofusion sound that I'm hoping will travel. Just him being one of our ambassadors, the collaborations he's been able to do. I think the first song that comes to mind is that song he has with Ira Star, that traveled. It was charting in the UK, doing great stuff, and really putting Kenya on the map in that manner. Yeah.
They're pushing a specific genre, but Kenya has so much variety, and we don't have the platform to go into them. I'll give you an example, like Century Safari. They're the underground thing. They're giving people the platform, but it's not as big as they would hope. Now that's where we come in and be like, we appreciate what you're doing, we see what you're doing, and we want to take this talent and give them a bigger platform and work together. And I think that's the main fundamental thing, working together, and also main thing, searching and digging for talent.
Fantastic. I mean, gosh, it's like you wrote it down. It's like you wrote it down, Riz. Good stuff. I asked you about some other questions. I want to know how important is music education, in your opinion, in nurturing talent and maintaining high artistic standards in the industry. So basically, how important is it that guys do that due diligence before just blasting posting? Because it's so easy just to put yourself out there, but do you know what you're doing?
I think it's extremely important. Knowledge is power, and that serves the foundation. And I personally had the privilege to be able to study music business management, and that has really shaped the way I go about my career. And it's great to see places like San creating the spaces for that type of education, because it's empowerment. As an artist, of course, we're geared towards thinking to create, but I think it's really, really important to understand how the business works so that you are able to advocate for yourself. You understand the basics of like how legal stuff works and what is IP law and what type of contract you're supposed to be entering into with a manager and all of those things, so that you can be empowered and not be taken advantage of, right? Because we hear a lot of sad stories of how artists in this industry have been exploited and not treated properly, and that has really dampened people's careers. So I would say it's pivotal to just understand the basics of how it all works.
That's like
an exam question. 3 challenges. At least 3 challenges that face the current music industry or the artists.
Exactly. And how do you think we can overcome those challenges?
Wow. Okay, so the first challenge is our CEO disappearing. That's a current challenge. To overcome it, I think somebody used to start a CEO, but they do it the right way. No corruption and none of that things inside there, and we actually collect money. A second challenge that we face, I think we can back and do this with Fena. Another challenge that we face. Fena, another challenge. Funding, cash flow. We need more investors, private investors, company brand investors, and the government to invest in the craft. So the second one is funding. And another challenge I think we do face is something that we realize as females in the industry. I know I don't want to get to that point, but I feel like our opportunities are a bit more scarce than the males are in this industry, and I feel like it should open up more to have you like, if you're having an event, have like the same amount of females and males on the stage, because we all have our fans, the same way the males do have them. So that's one of my personal biggest challenge, is like we need to shout louder to be given the same opportunities. So I think we need people in the boardrooms saying, we have 3 guys showing up, let's have 3 babes showing up. Because we're doing the work. Absolutely.
And when the 3 babes show up, pay them as much as you're paying them.
Yes!
10 out of 10.
That makes sense.
Let's go!
But it's changing. I think we've seen how, again, Kenyan music is being appreciated
Redefined.
more. But there's always the nuances of, let's say Wangechi today gets upset about something and then she tweets about it, and then someone will tell you, we are not, why you're talking, like she doesn't have a mind of her own, or because she's just an artist, she should, So I think we're actively working towards changing that perception, and I believe that the audience is also intentionally growing and sending back the energy that we're putting out. I appreciate y'all.
Because I feel like you have a videographer, who's the editor, who's the DOP, who's the photographer, and the master, like a producer is the beat maker, the sound engineer. Like we can't have all of this. So imagine you're a dope videographer, you shoot a video today, sawa. When are you going to get time to edit? And tomorrow you're shooting Fena's video, and you're still the one supposed to shoot from Yeshi's video. Like, I feel like that causes so much time delivery, so there's no enough product or quality product on time. So you shoot today, you get your video in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like, it's going to keep on postponing our success. So we just need people to specialize in something. I can't have you do all these things.
Encounter, trying to put on world-class shows, and some of the frustrations you've had with the musicians, how can they do better?
One of our biggest issues is timing. Respecting the promoter's time. Respecting
Run it back. Facts, no quelli.
time is money, right? And respecting the sound check we're doing and showing up and actually doing it is fundamental to us to actually running a flawless show. If you show up late and you don't show up in time
Kenya,
for
kumbe
your set,
timing.
you cannot amend the whole show according to your time. Respecting people's time is so crucial, but it seems like we're stuck in this kind of loop being like, we're the artist, you have to amend it to us. But if we're running a show flawlessly, international standards, and which we've given the people the platform, if you don't respect our our time, unfortunately, we have to run the show according to the way we were doing it.
Kenyan nice.
I think it goes
They
both
have
ways also.
the
At 9, but all of us here, we just leave the house at 9.
Momo! Momo! That's a lie! That's a lie! Where do Momo wanna?
This is something we experience a lot as promoters. We have a show running from, let's say, 10 p.m. and we have to shut down at 5. And the Kenyan audience comes in at 1. There's only so much you'll experience. We have a curated lineup of amazing artists, but our demographic are used to after midnight pre-drinks. Come pre-drink with us. We have something amazing lined up for you.
Yes! International standards.
So we have to wait for the bus people to pull up at like midnight. So like, that's how it is.
It's probably an upcoming artist here who will only ever get that chance to play at 9 when there's maybe 5 people in the crowd. Sing it like you're singing for 1,000.
Yes! Yes!
So many, okay,
So
sometimes
true.
you do care, but personally I'm not really so tight about where I am on the lineup. Because I mean, whoever is there to find
Yes.
out.
Yes!
But yeah, I mean, I learned that from when I was starting out, like the 3 people in your show when you're starting out, those are your 3 fans, and them what you think about.
Woo!
Fair enough, so some gems there, guys. I mean, those platforms have had on the Kenyan music industry, particularly when it comes to consumption and distribution. What is some of the data you've seen and what's going on under the hood?
I think something that has been encouraging for us to see is Spotify launched in February of 2021. We've seen an increase in consumption of local content. Now, unfortunately, it's still very much skewed international in terms of what Kenyans listen to, and I think this is an issue we have in this industry. Kenyans not listening to Kenyan music, but we're seeing it improve, which of course we can all be happy about. So that's one positive, and we're just hoping as the years go by, we're able to work more with artists and artists begin leveraging digital platforms in their careers and being smart about how they market their music. We'll continue to see that increase. So that's been one positive effect. But also in terms of the music traveling, we're just seeing in different parts of the continent, people beginning to engage more with Kenyan music in its variety of ways, whether it's R&B, whether it's rap, whether it's Afrofusion. We're beginning to see it pick up in other markets, which is also exciting because it means the music is traveling, which is what we want in terms of bringing sort of Kenyan music to a global scale. So yeah, that's what I would say.
When it comes to putting their music, their products out there in the digital space, how can they do better?
At a base level, what you're saying, I think we are still having to do a lot of education in terms of the basics of how to properly distribute and ingest your music and the nitty-gritties of that, so that it's properly tagged from a better data perspective and all of that. But also the importance of planning out your rollout. It's not that you have made a song on Monday, it's now going to drop on Wednesday. We're still fighting that because if you think about it, this song is your baby, you've taken so much time to create it, you want it to have as much life as is possible. And there's so much chatter and so much music that's released on a daily basis. You have to be extremely intentional with how you roll out your music, not just the pre, but especially the post. In mature markets, you see people who have marketing strategies that roll out for like even a year or a year and a half, and they're pushing the same album over and over and over again and finding new ways to talk about it. So I think that mentality of not rushing the release and just nursing it and pulling it out for as long as you can, for it to have as much life as it can. I think that's something that we need to work on. Yeah.
So I feel like technology, this point, might reduce the producer's work for an artist. Because that's what I'm saying, it's a way to live on. Because I, as an artist, can now create my own music
very easily. One touch, by the way. One touch will really technology might reduce the impact of producers in the studio and the session musicians and everything around that. But also, it could make the time we take in studio move faster, especially the mixing and the mastering process, because I'm sure they have like inbuilt, like you press a button and your song's already mixed and mastered.
It's already there.
It's already there.
It's already there. What are the current trends, the thing that has caught your eye in Kenyan music? And basically, what are the Kenyan trends that you see that you want to put on? This could be a person, it could be a genre, a sub-genre, that gets you excited for the tomorrow that we're stepping into. So basically, put on for anything that you see that has gotten you excited about the Kenyan music industry as you transition into the new
Remember,
year.
it was like,
Brand new album is called Love, Art, Lust. For me, what's exciting is really just opening up from the top four. Like the only four names we knew from Kenyan music, and now anyone who comes to our country has like 1,000 to choose from. It's really exciting. The sound, the musical, push the country forward.
woo!
Thank you, Mr. Musau.
Honestly, I don't remember the question. What was the question?
Kila mtu anasahau Kenya music.
When we were starting this music career, first of all, shout out to Mura. Tukiwatch the beats and we're just like, wow, like Kenyans can even get a beat in. You know, like, so like I feel like only thing that excites me is just seeing every Kenyan live to like build their true self in whatever genre. There's no like artist, tree, I only do this type of music or whatever. Everyone is succeeding. Like if someone is doing reggaeton, ameshika. Hip hop, house is popping. You know, amapiano is popping. I did Sophia with Musau Mumo. So I just feel like what a time to be alive when it's like all genres being represented by Kenyans are popping. Like that's what I'm for. I could go down to what a time. Yeah, so that's the happiness I get to see. Because in the end, tukishika sisi wote tutakuwa kwa express na Lamborghini shit.
Wamepangia viti, kuna wenye wamepangia viti hapa. Lamborghini, Musau has said, there's a Lamborghini waiting for you on the express.
Yeah, but like honestly, I just live for this time because unakumbuka vile side is like 1,000 artists who are popping. You know how like an event has a poster and you're just like, wow, as in all of this, you know. So yeah, tuendelee tu, watu waendelee kujipush because our players need to try help us, so we don't have to work with them. Let's just do what we have to.
Yes! Yes!
Nice, thanks. Monica, what you say?
I mean, similar to these guys, I think it's just great to see opening up the variety of different artists that we have. Like Rizwan said, if you're a Kenyan who is it's Kenyan music, and it's just beautiful to see all those different spaces popping up. I think it's also great to see different platforms that are coming up that are homegrown, whether it's event spaces or podcasts or blogs that are talking about Kenyan music and that are pushing the culture forward. Because I feel like as much as we look to these outside platforms, we also need to support the stuff that's being created by those content creators at home that are trying to push the culture forward. Because at the end of the day, you know, the whole team being behind you is what pushes you forward. If you see the way South Africans consume the plethora of genres that are being made in South Africa, they rival that with Nigerians, and I think that's what we need to do. But also spaces like this, I think in the past year or so, pre-COVID, I think there's been a lot more spaces coming up that are encouraging this type of conversation.
Yes.
Folks just come and talk and ask questions and figure out how we can build the industry from an infrastructural perspective so that it's long-lasting. It's not just a wave that we enjoy now, but we have the future artists.
It's very hard to tell yourself these things sometimes. But also let's allow outside validation, you know, like. Yeah, it's been very humbling, a very great experience. I feel like I'm a DJ as an event producer. Yes, and I'm very grateful, very grateful to the Night Embassy for the opportunity.
Great. Nice.
We really appreciate your support. We're fresh. It's been such an amazing process from education to producing music, planning this event, planning this panel discussion. Still doing it. Super excited. We have so much planned.
Yo, man, listen. What I can say for Santa, there's been a lot of media mosaic.
It's not just about the music. Make sure you get there from around 8. We're going to have a few installation in the stage. So there's going to be a whole experience for the performance and the showcase. The EP is ready. We have some live sets prepared. We have some of the best DJs in Nairobi playing as well. So it's going to be a party. So hoping to see you all tomorrow. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Come be my friend.